providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing, and thanks for being here with us. Happy day. It's a good day to be alive.
Sure it is.
Yeah. That's the voice, if you don't already know it, that's the voice of Terry Lynn Stacy.
Hello.
Aw, Terry.
I'm looking outside of your Joy's House studios where we record this show or tape this show or talk to you from this room. And outside, everything is in bloom, despite all the horrible weather we've had. Everything is in bloom.
It's
beautiful. Look at the tree behind us.
I hope everybody...
all full of the white flowers.
Well, I mean...
Well,
I
this
hope
side of
everybody
it
brought their flowers in these last few days. But that's a different therapy session.
I know it, but they're
so,
hardy.
Hey, no matter if your flowers are in
purple
bloom or
tree.
not, okay, squirrel. There actually might be a squirrel.
Beautiful purple tree. You should probably shut the curtains.
That's Terry Stacy. I am Tina McIntosh. We are in studio with our wonderful producer, Noah Taylor.
Hello.
Hi, Noah.
What Noah's not telling you is behind the curtain. The reason he doesn't want to touch it, Terry, is because there is a very creepy doll.
Somebody played a prank on me and hid a doll here in our recording studio. I'm not going to name names, but it was Tina.
So this doll showed up at Joy's house in the basement years ago. I think somebody had donated it. There are actually two of them. The other one is scarier. This one comes to about maybe up to your hips.
It's pretty tall.
Yeah, she's tall. She looks like she cut her own bangs at the age of 4, and they never grew back. And she just travels around the office and ends up in places that really scare you, particularly if you're alone in this 120-year-old farmhouse at night.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah.
You know, the history behind this 120-year-old farmhouse is pretty cool. I mean, this has been a lot of things, including a farm, truly. And then it was a daycare for kids.
Bright Beginnings, I think, was the name of it.
Was it?
Yeah, it had a big... So for those of you who don't know, in Broad Ripple, it was a White House across from the old MCL and had a very large sunshine on the side on the chimney. Do you remember the sunshine?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
A sunshine on the chimney that the daycare had?
Yeah, we kind of felt bad when we painted over it in the beginning because
Oh.
we just erased all the
Yeah.
sunshine. But we brought all the joy.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, this is actually, we're just a few days out from National Healthcare Decisions Day, which ties in really well with everything we do here at Joy's House. And excuse me, for those of you who don't know, it's a time that's dedicated to educating and empowering people when you want to express your wishes regarding healthcare. And I think so many of us don't have the conversations, and then many of us do, but we don't get anything written down, and we wait for this crisis to happen. And what we're really hoping with National Healthcare Decisions Day is that you will make your voice heard and your wishes and your wants ahead of time, before the crisis happens.
Being proactive about it, not waiting for the disaster.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. Well, I think part of it is we're just scared to think about the bad things that could happen.
Yeah.
So we try to push them away a
We
little bit.
kind of do. We really do. We are people. We are a people that just say, "Oh, I'll do that tomorrow."
So I had
You just do.
That's
I'll do it tomorrow.
I had a conversation with some folks in Ireland who are doing some things around caregiving just a week or so ago. And one, they were really just brilliant to talk with. And one of them, what do they call each other when they say mate? Do they say mate in Ireland?
I don't know. They do that in Australia. That's Australian, I think.
Yeah,
also.
somebody called me
But
something. It's a very Irish term, and I can't think right now, but I just felt really loved on that phone call. But talking about caregivers, and we were talking about end-of-life issues, and I was expressing how we in the States aren't very good at talking about death and dying issues. We talk about it a lot here in Caregiver Crossing. And they said in the Republic of Ireland, they talk about it a lot. One of the people on the call said, maybe too much. And I said, yeah, but in my mind, I'm being very stereotypical. It's you're cheersing your beers, talking about death and dying. And he was like, pretty much, nailed it.
Yeah.
So, our culture needs to be better. But if you do this advanced care planning and have these conversations, I promise you, we promise you, it will just reduce the stress. And it will ensure that those medical decisions reflect your values and your desires, because the reality is, without getting them written down in the right way, what you want might not be what you get. Fair?
Fair.
So what are some things, Noah, that caregivers should know?
Well, I think the most important part is really it's never too early to start talking about these things. I mean, whether you're 28 or 88, thinking through your wishes, it helps you, helps your family, helps your loved ones. Really starting to think about those things at an earlier age.
Let me ask you though. Okay, so how do you get to that conversation? When do you do it? Do you guys all schedule a meeting and say, look, we're just going to have a family talk and do that? Or do you just bring it up at the dinner table? How do you bring
I'm
that
going to
into
schedule a
the
meeting with my
conversation?
kids. Literally, I'm
Okay.
just going to do it. I'm going to make a note. I'll come back and talk with you about it.
Yeah.
Noah,
I think
have
that
you
sounds...
expressed your wishes?
Oh, geez.
Are we practicing what we preach here?
I think I have it maybe in sort of an indirect way, but nothing too specific or actionable that I should probably be writing down, actually getting these things prepared. I mean, I've talked
As you get older, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but as you get older, do you think that those wishes that you have today would be much different than they might be 10 years from now?
That's a really good question. I mean, I'm sure... I'm going to say no. I think...
What if a great song comes along 10 years from now, and instead you had something like, We've Only Just Begun from the Carpenters?
I don't remember
And
how
then
that song
10
goes,
years
Terry.
ago-
Would you sing that to us a little bit?
We've only just begun.
Birds in the background. It's coming back to me.
Live.
Carpenters.
It's
Oh.
actually a wedding song.
What?
But I just
Beautiful.
picked that out because I love that song. But
do
let's say
too.
you love that song now, and 10 years from now, that might change for you.
Yeah, but I feel
Song
like
that
we're
you
not...
want played at your funeral.
But that's easy. Like you keep that in a place like our care kits or, the documents you can find on
So you
Caregiver
keep-
Way,
it's-
which is our platform.
yeah.
But I think what we're talking about here are the medical decisions, right? So
Oh, not what you
life
want at your
support.
funeral
We know, that's important too. Yes, that is important too.
of the conversation.
You
Another
can
part.
change that on a written piece of paper
Okay.
anywhere at
We're
any
talking
time.
about health issues, real health issues or
Yeah.
crises that come about.
Like this is
in
like your
wishes.
advance directive and your living will, your health care power of attorney, the POLST form, which is the physician orders for life-sustaining treatment. It's the bright
gosh,
pink
it's
form
so
you've
much.
probably seen. But
It's a lot.
those things might change, but don't always change, So, all right, listen.
I like that a lot, Tina. That was a really good way to put it. Let's not skip past that. That was very smart.
Would you like Terry to sing us out on
Yes.
this segment?
Yeah, yes, please.
We do
We've
need to.
only just begun. I'll do it lightly.
I like it. All right, we are going to take a break. We hope you'll stick around. We have lots to talk about. Forest bathing, 2 words that go together but stir up all kinds of images. We're going to tell you more about that when we come back here on Caregiver Crossing. I forgot you were humming. Here in just a moment. We do have to take a break. Stick around.
You can find past episodes of the show at caregivercrossingradio.org and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, have a question that you'd like for us to answer on there, or just want to say hey, you can reach us at 317-254-0828, or you can email Tina at tina@joycehouse.org. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon Associates. We are every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. All right, please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Central Indiana. Wish TV is now live on YouTube TV and Hulu Live, offering more hours of local programming than any other station. Search for Wish TV or look for CW8 on both YouTube TV and Hulu Live to find us. Watch local news, sports, and lifestyle shows live from Wish TV. You can still catch Wish TV free over the air or stream it live on wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile apps. Wish TV, available in more places for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Don't let high golf rates drive you out of bounds. Save big with the Wish TV Great Golf Club card.
Central Indiana's largest golf club card membership is back for the 8th season with more courses than ever before. Save over 75% on tee times at 27 Central Indiana golf courses. All you need is the Wish TV Great Golf Club card. Cards are valid for the entire 2026 golf season.
Great courses, great savings. Score your Great Golf Club card today.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. I am Tina McIntosh, and in studio I've got Noah Taylor here, and then we have a guest with us, Christel DeHaan Artistic Director at the Phoenix Theater Culture Center, Constance Macy. Hi.
Hi, you guys.
Glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too.
You're a natural on the mic because, as we'll talk about here in a minute, you've done everything.
I was an actor for a very long time. Yeah. I've done a little radio and I've done a little voiceover. So
Now, wait a minute. When you say you were an actor, do you still act at all?
I do still act. I guess I am still an actor. It's just not my bread and butter like it used to be.
Right. I mean, you produce and direct and
Yeah.
do all the things.
Right.
Yeah. So, now it seems like you're really helping to shape the stories that we're seeing, particularly right now at the Phoenix Theater Culture Center, and really excited about this new chapter and new voices. I think when Noah first brought this to my attention, we were selfishly excited because you've got a great show that is running right now called Wasabia.
Correct.
And I know we're going to talk about lots of things, but I want to jump right into the
I know, I'm
show.
really excited
Okay.
to talk about
Because
it.
there's a lot of tie-in for us. I mean,
Yes.
it's here in Caregiver Crossing with the work that we do at Joy's House. And can you just tell us a little bit about the production, Wasabia?
Right. So Wasabia is a comedy about medically assisted dying, in essence. In a nutshell, that's what it's
I mean,
about.
it makes sense, right? The comedy about the medically.
I mean,
assisted
sometimes you
dying.
have to laugh or you cry, right?
That's
right,
right.
that's
And,
right.
and it is highly theatrical in that two of the drugs that go into this cocktail that is part of medically assisted dying are personified on stage, and they're played by two gorgeous women. They're very inviting. They're very sexy and not threatening. And so it's a very theatrical sort of storytelling, but is funny, and people are really loving it. And you'll cry too, but it's just an overall great experience.
I mean, I'm also an end-of-life doula.
Mhm.
And so this is my language, right? I probably say death and dying way too comfortably for most people.
Yeah.
But this is, how did the story come about? I don't know. And by the way, Noah is a theater person.
I do
Oh.
love theater.
Oh,
Constance
good.
is a theater person.
For my whole life.
I am just dramatic. Like I'm really not, but I don't know how it works. So
Yeah. Well, this play was sent to me from another theater company that was producing the world premiere of it. We're all part of a group of theaters that are committed to new plays, the development of new plays. And so we're all part of this network called the National New Play Network. And there's a program within that called a rolling world premiere. And you can get funding for that if you get 3 theaters to sign up and do a roll, as we call it. So this original theater was trying to get Wendy's play Wasabia rolling, and they didn't get the theaters in time. But I picked the play up. They had sent it to me a while ago, and I read it. I read it thinking, I don't know if this is gonna work. It just didn't work in my head,
Right.
and
like wouldn't work from the stage, or you were like,
or like,
how's
how
the
is
audience
this
gonna
funny?
take that?
How is this
Yeah,
funny?
yeah.
That tracks. Okay.
Right. But I loved it so much. And often as a producer, as I'm reading a play, because I'm very committed to the local talent in Indianapolis, as somebody who was an actor for 30 years based in Indianapolis, I always had a bit of an issue with theaters going, well, let's see who we can find in Chicago.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the people are here, right? And so anyway, I will often think about like who would be good. But anyway, I didn't even have to think about it for a second because I read the whole play in Jan Lucas's voice.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So
And who will come to this? Who's coming to this and enjoying it? Does it? I guess my question really is: does it take a special person to enjoy Wasabia?
I don't think so. I think, we've had church groups come, young people, in fact, on opening night, a couple of young women approached me in the lobby, and they looked like they were in like their late 20s, to say, thank you for choosing this story. Nobody talks about death, and they're, watching their grandparents at their end of lives, or, maybe even their parents. And nobody really, I mean, I mean, obviously people do, we are right now, but I just think it's in our society kind of a taboo subject.
Agreed. We at Joy's House, we have an end of life program.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we do is we will host either a death cafe or a death over drafts. So imagine we sit down, we have a beer together, we talk about death and dying questions that are prompted by a deck we have called the Death Deck.
Wow.
And we have had more people, like what you're saying about those two young women, we've had more people come to those kicking and screaming, and then they leave saying, thank you for the space to talk about it.
Right.
And so I think for what you're doing with Wasabia, at the Phoenix Theater Cultural Center is you're giving space to normalize conversations and feelings probably about death and dying.
Yes.
I love that you're doing this.
Yeah. We had an audience talk back after last Sunday's performance. And yeah, everybody has a story to share about someone's death. And like my own father's death a couple of years ago, he knew he was going to die soon, right? And he just became very worried about everything, very fussy and worried about, like, he was like calling the doctors or the funeral home to say, now, if I die here in my chair, what does my wife do? And, if I die in the hospital, then what happened? Like, he was so worried about all of us and my mom that, it was just, I'm just like, you need to just, it's fine. Everything will be just fine no matter what. And but because it's just not something that we discuss at the table.
Something that a coworker of Noah and mine said recently that I thought was really beautiful. And I, by the way, don't want to overlook. I'm sorry to hear about your dad's passing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I don't want to breeze by that.
That's okay.
And a coworker said to me that when we're working with people or living and loving, beside people who are dying, she said, the body knows how to die.
Right.
Just like the body knows how, a woman's body knows how to give birth.
Yeah.
The body knows how to die. She said, millions of people have died before and it knows how to do it. And I thought, that's really brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in Wasabia that was a light bulb for you? Because for me, with our coworker saying that was a light bulb, right? I was like, of course the body knows how to die. Of course millions of people have done it.
Right.
But was there anything, like, I love you describing the two drugs as these sexy, beautiful, charismatic, women on stage. But was there anything that clicked for you?
I think the thing that I didn't know about the Dying with Dignity movement, if you will, is that, you have to be of sound mind. You have to have a prognosis, a medical prognosis that is like months, right? It can't be, oh, well, you might have 5 years. Well, then you don't qualify for this, right?
That's right.
So even in the states where you can do it, these are the rules for it, which is why it's kind of frustrating, like here, because then I took a deep dive into this. I knew a little bit about it because I had known an actor who developed a bad cancer, maybe pancreatic, I can't remember, but it was a painful cancer with a short prognosis. And they lived in Wisconsin. They didn't have this there. They didn't have Dying with Dignity there. So they went to Oregon, where you don't have to be a citizen to go to do it. They made an appointment. It was he, his wife, a friend. I think their dog went. They documented the whole thing on their Facebook. So that was all I knew about that. I didn't even know that was a thing until he did that. And then, so then I was looking into it and like, why don't we have it? And I learned that legislation was introduced in Indiana, but it was really pushed back on. Like, I think like the GOP legislators were like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable. I feel like vulnerable people could be taken advantage of, even though the same rules would apply.
Agreed. And here's the thing. By the way, you are hearing the voice of Constance Macy, who is the Christel DeHaan Artistic Director at the Phoenix Theater Cultural Center. Let's pause this because we have to take a break. He's not going to make us. We just have to do it.
We do have to take a break.
But I love this conversation, and I think it's because we're afraid of talking about it that it scares people to put a legislation in. I get it. we've got to be having more conversations like this. So
Right.
we'll be back here in just a moment.
You're
Okay.
listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, we are back here on Caregiver Crossing. Tina McIntosh in studio with Noah Taylor producing. And Constance Macy is our guest today. She is the Christel DeHaan Artistic Director at the Phoenix Theater Cultural Center. And we're so excited because right now, if you didn't catch the last segment here before the break, there is a production called Wasabia that is happening right now. I think the last day is Sunday, right? The 12th?
The
April
12th. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Noah and I are actually going to that production at 2:30 that afternoon, and then sticking around because I co-host a podcast with Kelly Young called Badassery Life, and you are kind enough to let us stick around and interview you and some of the actors and
Right.
talk about the production. So if you don't have your tickets and you're thinking, ooh, this Wasabia production is interesting, or listen, I just want to go to the Phoenix Theater Cultural Center, then get your ticket for the 2:30 show on Sunday the 12th. You can go online and buy the ticket there.
Yep, phoenixtheater.org.
And,
And theater is spelled the pretentious way with R-E at the end.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'd like to see you there and stick around for afterward. You can meet Noah.
I'll be there. I'll be
get
there
Noah's
too.
autograph for producing.
If I got to give out an autograph, that would make my life.
Somebody please do that. We'll be there to do our live broadcast of the podcast for Badassery Life. So really excited. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
So here's a question for you as the Christel DeHaan Artistic Director.
Yeah.
When you're bringing something like Wasabia to the stage, there's a sensitivity to it, right?
Mhm.
And so do you do something that prepares those of us who are in the audience, or is it just magic?
I think the latter. I think live theater is magic. You know, it's a singular, immersive experience. It fosters empathy unlike any other art form. So the emotional connection and the community we experience together in the room, it can't be replaced by screens because it's every time a new audience comes in and has that, you know, I always thought as an actor, like you can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, but your final scene partner comes in on the night, you know,
Yes.
and anything, you know, whatever energy they're giving you, you know, affects what you're creating up there. So, so it is a singular experience. And I feel like live performances provide intense intellectual engagement where actors and audiences share that same energy in the space, as I said, and there's just nothing else like it. And so, and also we have an amazing staff at the Phoenix. You know, you come in, you meet these happy, helpful people, and, you know, setting you up for a good time. And, you know, there are trigger warnings. You know, we tell people this deals with end of life. You know, there is, you know, theatrical haze in the room, you know, like whatever. We tell you anything that might surprise you kind of in advance just because we don't want to trigger people or surprise people in the wrong way. But really, we're bringing you together to share this experience with us. And if you need to talk about it in the lobby after, we're there for that as well.
I love that. So that goes for, you know, every show as they're going through the week. And then certainly we'll talk about it on the 12th for that final showing with the podcast for Badassery Life. And so there are a lot of people listening who are caring for somebody with a memory loss. And is there something about this production that you're hoping that they will feel seen or understood, or, you know, just something will click for them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that like the fact that like the main character, there's at one point she says, well, my brother's just going to put me in a constitution. And the caregiver doesn't acknowledge that, you know, error. Like there's another time in the play when Vivian, the main character that Jan plays, she repeats herself and the caregiver is like, uh-huh. And she's like, I already said that, didn't I? And she's like, stop letting me repeat my, you know. And so I do think there's a lot of familiarity for those of us that have cared for elders or folks with dementia. But also, Jan is such a real person with, you will love her. You will root for her, even though she's kind of feisty, sometimes mean to the caregiver. um,
Oh, that seems real.
yeah, for sure.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. And so, and about being on Badassery Life, like talk about a badass, Jan Lucas. Like she survived leukemia. She had a bone marrow transplant, like in her maybe late 40s, early 50s. Then later in her life, she had colon cancer and was, radiated and treated for that. She's a badass outside of the theater too.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait to experience
Yeah.
that. You're hearing the voice of Constance Macy, who is the Christel DeHaan Artistic Director at the Phoenix Theater Cultural Center. And there are, I guess I'll ask this a different way. Are there ways that the Phoenix Theater is thinking about older adults, whether it's through the programming, accessibility, or clearly like this, the kinds of stories that are being told?
Yeah. So at the Phoenix, so we're not just the Phoenix Theater at the Cultural Center. There are 6 resident companies there, including the Phoenix Theater. And so one of those companies is called Actors Inc. And that is a company that started decades ago by an actor-director named Sandra Gay. And it began as a Black theater company in the late 80s, 90s. But as Sandra has aged, so has her company. And now it's very racially diverse now. It's not just a Black company anymore. But the mission of it is to serve people over a certain age. So the folks in that company range from 65 to 90 years old. Some of them can't remember anything, so they don't have any lines. They are just play some silent person or whatever. So she's really good at keeping these folks engaged, keeping their minds engaged, and giving them community and stuff like that. So that is one of the resident companies at the theater. We've also provided rehearsal space to Summerstock Stage has recently started a program called Encore, which is for seniors, and they did a production of Guys and Dolls, which was so sweet. I loved it so much. But we have provided rehearsal space for them. And then I think by doing plays like Wasabia, we're recognizing that life continues as long as it does, right? I mean, that's you keep having birthdays or you don't. And so we are, we want to be accessible to all. Now, mind you, we are considered an edgy theater. So if you're offended by certain language, consider yourself warned by me. You'll probably hear it at the
Trigger
Phoenix.
warning.
Yeah. You might hear an F-bomb or something at the Phoenix and probably will. We don't play it safe, I guess, in the storytelling, but we also don't want to leave anyone out.
Well, and I would suggest that if you're thinking about going to the show and you have any concerns about accessibility or anything, go ahead and get in touch with them. Tell us again, how can we get tickets?
Go to phoenixtheater.org, and you'll see a menu option to buy tickets, and there'll be more of a description of it there. You can also reach out to the box office and ask them, your questions about all of those things.
Phoenixtheater.org, and theater is R-E.
R-E.
All right. And again, we are going to be there. Noah and I will be there on Saturday, April 12th for the final showing of Wasabia at 2:30. And then we're going to do a podcast for Badassery Life. Our friend Kelly Young and I co-host that. And we're going to do that right afterward as a live podcast. So we hope you'll join us. Please ask for Noah's autograph. All right.
I can't wait. Thank
Constance,
you so much.
thank you.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much for being here.
I loved it.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. We're sad that we have to leave you for the week, but we'll be back next week. Never fear. I'm Tina, Terry, Noah, all in the Joy's House studio.
Yep.
You have to do things for yourself, things that bring you joy that maybe are not related to anything else in your life, right? And so I'm going to ask both of you a question, and that is, you have busy lives, you have things that take priorities. What have you set aside in the last, let's say, year? Something you enjoy that you've set aside because you have other priorities, whether it's caring for someone, it's work, anything.
Oh, what you have put actually, like said, I just don't have time for this. Something
Yeah.
that makes you happy that you haven't done.
Yeah.
Dating my husband.
Oh, now that is a good one.
Yeah.
And you've been married
I think
for how
about
many
it more.
years?
This is our 40th year. Wow. In October. So I've been thinking about that a lot, that we've had a lot of ups and downs over the last couple of years. And truly, I started to realize with our schedules and everything that goes on, we haven't had really dates anymore. So yeah, dates.
I love, I think the word vulnerability is overused, but thank you for that.
Well, it's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It's very, very, especially in the stage that we're in,
right.
to just let that go.
Right.
Somebody I saw the other day, they said, I asked them if they wanted to do something, and they'd been married a long time too. And they said, well, yeah, we'll do that. And they said, we don't have really anything to talk about anymore. So sure. And you do that starts to happen.
Yes.
As you, just in life in general, when you've been with somebody for 40 years, you think, ugh.
Well, you run out of things, or let's be honest, the work that you do, you're talking all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Right.
sure you go home and it's like, meow.
Yeah, I
but
do.
it could be, playing on love languages. It could be a gift. It could be just quality time. It could be a big
that's it.
hug, right?
Right. I mean,
all
it
the
really
things.
could be just watching something together.
Right.
Yes.
A movie
Doesn't
together.
have to be-
Because, again, in this day and age, we got 50 TVs all around the house.
Yeah, you
I don't
say
really
that.
want to watch golf. So,
Well, I was going to say how many times that my husband will say, like, hey, I'm getting ready to watch blah, blah, blah. You want to watch it with me? And I'll go, actually don't. And I'll just keep walking.
and that is a good thing that you can be that comfortable that you're like, no, I'm not
But
going to
kind
sit and
of
watch
rude,
it. But
really.
It is really rude. It's challenging the older you get and the longer you've been married. It really is. There's a lot
So
to be said.
dating your spouse. I thank you.
I think I have recently started doing it again. But the past year, something I kind of let go of a little is I really, really love collecting vintage Batman toys.
You're the cutest thing I've ever
You
seen.
are so fun.
I love all the
Batman toys. Go on.
I'm
here.
I love the trading cards. I love all the action figures. Anything Batman, I'm such a big fan of. But I mean, it's hard to have time to. I mean, you really got to go looking on eBay. You got to go to
Yes.
Goodwill. It's hard to dedicate the time to doing those things.
You go on scavenger hunts all the time.
Yeah.
You're on a
Used
big
to, right.
scavenger hunt.
For Batman,
for Batman stuff. We have some great, really, really great nostalgic toy stores here in
we
Indianapolis.
do. We're lucky.
Yeah.
The Toy Pit,
Yeah.
amazing, incredible.
I love
if
that
you
you
want
do
any
that.
kind of vintage toys, shout out the Toy Pit.
Do you do the Batman sound?
Oh
I'm Batman.
no, I'm not doing that.
I just did it.
I'm Batman.
No, I'm not doing it. Then he did it. Love it. That's great.
Good answers. Thank you. Thank you.
But you didn't answer.
Yeah. What about you, Tina?
I mean, so I guess I'm okay. I go to two places in my brain. One is working out, just simply taking care of this body that's taken such good care of me or tried to kill me a few times. I don't know which way to go with that. The other is I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy painting.
You're very good at it.
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
I mean, you can paint a wall like nobody else.
Now that I can do. I can rock a wall.
But no, you are an artist.
Well, I'm not.
You
but
are.
I took a class at the Art Center in Broad Ripple, and I really enjoyed it. And it was just for me, and nobody needed to care about anything I was doing.
You got to
So,
do it again. You
I do.
got to do it again.
All right. Before we go, we do want to share with you things that are for you. So people all the time tell you, take care of yourself as a caregiver. And it's like, what in the world does that even mean? And so we can tell you. Go to visitcaregiverway.com. Noah will make sure to have a QR code or a link or something on our Facebook page. Visit caregiverway.com. We're going to tell you how to do the things people are always telling you that you should do. And we do want to share with you very quickly a powerful piece that was written by one of our members, Jane Bentley. And we're going to hear about that now from Terry.
If you are a caregiver, again, this is written by Jane Bentley. It's for caregivers whose loved ones are now in full-time care. And Jane writes, if you are a caregiver whose loved one is now in full-time care facility, you may have lots of questions. Now what? What am I supposed to do now that I'm not caring for anyone 24/7? Why do I feel so lost? Why do I want to sleep so much? If that sounds familiar, I could go on, but you get the idea. When you have been a caregiver for someone for so long, it's sometimes hard to find you again. Lots of extra time sounds wonderful and scary all at once. And if you're like I was, you may even feel guilty that you have the freedom to do what you want for a change. It took me a while. After all, I was a caregiver for 10 years. Being able to sleep without always having one eye open or listening for your person sounds good, right? But being able to do that takes time. And really, before you can even consider what you want to do next, you need to learn to relax, breathe, and just be. And in my case, that was progress. No need to figure it all out today. Take your time, be good to yourself, listen to your body and your heart. Give yourself some grace too. You deserve it. And that again was written by Jane Bentley.
Yeah, so we want you to join us in Caregiver Way. Visit caregiverway.com, and there's so much more in there about how to do all the many things that you are told to do. If you want to know more about that, you can go to Facebook. You can always email me at tina@joyshouse.org. We want to help you through this caregiver journey. Right now, we want to show some gratitude, and then we'll see you next week.
Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon & Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take good care of each other.